Tim, good morning. Big Crystal Palace fan. Martin's with me, so too is Simon, of course. What do you want to say? This is Simon's former club, but in what direction should they go now, Tim?
Morning, gentlemen. Hello, Simon. It's good to finally talk.
Morning, Tim.
I'm absolutely furious this morning. I've been a Palace fan all my life, over 45 years, including living abroad for 12 years. Came back December year before last. Quite emotional to go back to Sellers Park because at the end of the day, historically, Palace they're a unique club with the supporter base and the link to the board, but that's gone. It's entirely down to Parish and the board, I'm afraid. Yeah, Vieira's made mistakes. He's a young manager. He's learning his trade. But the players have got a lot to answer for. We're only 3 points worse off this time this year than we were last year. I didn't hear anyone calling for his head, and that happened last year. When Parish took over the club, he made a statement saying that you have to invest in the club, in the team, or you go backwards. Well, no manager has been backed to the level that is needed to keep us or get us to go forward. So if anyone needs to go, it should be Parish and the board. It's absolutely scandalous. The club at the moment is in a terrible position in many ways. I don't think he should have been sacked. He should have been given at least till the end of the year. It's just at the moment it's toxic there, even on social media, what people are saying. And it's down to Parish and the board. Parish and the board seem more concerned about their social media and their marketing and their PR and how they look. All we get to see is videos of arriving in style on social media. We don't care about that. We want our team. We're never going to win the league. I was at the City game the other night, and you look at their squad walking out. We're never going to compete. We just don't have the money. It's time Parish left, got his ego out the way, and looked for backers, owners who can invest in the club the way a Premier League club should be investing.
Okay, Tim. Simon's sitting right beside me. You might feel awkward answering various points that, you probably don't.
I'm not going to miss an opportunity to land blows on Parish because I think what I think of him, but I don't think a lot of what you said is particularly fair, Tim. I mean, I owned the club for 10 years. I did my best, but I never achieved what Parish has done by the timings that he's had and the decisions that he's made. You've been in the Premier League for 10 years. Nosey never did that. I never did that. And Parish, whatever you may think of him now, and I think some of the things that you think, and I have real good reason for thinking them, but I also think you have to get things into context. There are plenty of teams in that division that aren't investing inordinate amounts of money that are doing slightly better than Palace are doing at this moment in time. I also look at the situation with Vieira, and I look behind the scenes, and without betraying confidences, I don't think the coaching setup was right. I don't think the quality of coaching that Patrick had alongside him was right. And if the momentum at this moment in time is that other sides like Everton are winning games and pulling themselves together, and Palace are currently in decline, then you do have to make some decisions. Now, whether someone wants to come along and buy Crystal Palace and then spend inordinate amounts of money on it, that's a different discussion. But I do think, Tim, and I'll be the last person to defend Parish, that you're a little bit wide of the mark there.
I kind of see what you mean, and it's not necessarily a criticism of Parish. If you don't have the resources to put in, it's not his fault. That I'm not blaming.
Well, he is the chairman, Tim, and he does take a £3 million a year salary out of the football club, so he does very nicely out of it. He's made more money out of that football club than anything he's ever made before, so he does need to take some responsibility, but we do also need to be constructive as well.
Tim, let me tell you, you've been commended for the points you've made this morning from a variety of Palace fans. There's one there, here to Tim, the Palace fan. He's finally you finally got a Crystal Palace fan on who's talking sense. Tim, thanks for that. Very quickly, we'll head to Mark, then we'll take the 10:30 bulletin. Mark, good morning, big Palace fan. What do you want to say? Vieira's gone.
Good morning, guys, and well done, Simon, for being so magnanimous then, because Parish has done a lot for the club.
Of course he
hasn't got the money. He hasn't got the money, and he's brought investors in who were showing the money.
He has.
In the three American, and they're not putting it up. They did 2 years ago, and this is where Tim's got it massively wrong. They backed Vieira to the hilt when he first came in, brought some brilliant players, and they performed last season brilliantly. They're not performing this year. I think you're right. I think it is the coaching staff that let Vieira down. I think the timing of this is wrong. I think Vieira had to go, but I think the timing is massively wrong. It should realistically either be after Arsenal or, to be honest, it should have been after the Villa match because they were awful. And we've had 2 more games of absolute awfulness, not a shot on target in any of those 3 games. You know, you you're just sleepwalking into relegation. Yes, we might be 12th, but we're only 3 points above the drop zone.
Oh, man, those are good points you make, mate. You couldn't be more on it. I mean, I watched them the other night, and he's right. I mean, they had two great chances early on. Alicia had one, and Odson Edouard had the other. It could have been a different game against Brighton, Simon, if these guys were paid to do what they do, put the ball in the back of the net.
And that's fine, and we could have had a different game from Leicester against Southampton, winning the Acho, missed a bunch of sitters. But it's not that, it's the reaction when they go a goal down. Palace went a goal down against Brighton, and the moment it went a goal down, you knew they were going to lose that game. They've got to get some more backbone, whether it's bringing Milivojevic back in the team, whose legs may have gone, but he'll give them some character, something to get them back into some sort of scenario of substance, because they're not substantial on the pitch at the moment.
Yeah. Mark, thank you for that. We're heading to the bulletin. Crystal Palace currently 3 points above Premier League relegation places in 12th. So we know that Dean Kiley, the goalkeeping coach, stays on, but we'll get further news, no doubt, out of Palace in the course of the morning. Vieira has gone. The big question is, who's next?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.